Dear colleagues, my name is Yaroslava Anna Stoika. I am an intern at the Department of Medical Psychology and Psychiatry at the National Pirogov Memorial Medical University in Vinnytsia. I am pleased to present to you the results of my research on the topic Features of the Use of Psychoactive Substances by Student Youth under Conditions of War Stress. The stress of the war is the most powerful psychosocial stress which causes a large-scale negative impact on the human psyche, contributes to the manifestation and exacerbation of mental disorders, and also provokes the abuse of psychoactive substances. The civilian population is particularly sensitive to the effects of the severe stress of war. The stress of war is especially dangerous for young people because its consequences can be felt for decades. It is known that during periods of social stress, the consumption of psychoactive substances increases, as they help to reduce anxiety and psychological tension. However, the long-term consequences of alcohol and drug abuse can be catastrophic for an individual and society. The war in Ukraine has been going on for a long period, and this leads to chronic stress as well as an increase in the incidence of stress-related diseases. The purpose of our study was to explore the propensity of student youth to use psychoactive substances, as well as the social and psychological consequences of addictions in the conditions of a long war. We investigated the specifics of consumption of alcohol, tobacco, including electronic cigarettes, light drugs, and psychotropic medications like anxiolytics, antidepressants, sleeping pills, and psychostimulants in 136 students from 1st to 6th year of a medical university who studied in such faculties as medicine, dentistry, pediatrics, and medical psychology. Among the examined were 46 men and 90 women. The average age was 19.2 plus minus 1.8 years. We also studied the psychological and social consequences of addictive behavior in 2 years since the beginning of the full-scale Russian invasion. It was discovered that before the start of the full-scale invasion in February 2022, mostly episodic usage of alcohol, tobacco, soft drugs, and psychotropic medications was prevalent among students, while regular use was significantly less prevalent. With the onset of full-scale war, consumption of alcohol by 22% and tobacco by 29%, as well as psychotropic drugs by 10.2%, increased significantly, while consumption of soft drugs decreased slightly. Men were more prone to increased consumption of alcohol and tobacco, and women to psychotropic drugs. By the end of the first year, there was a gradual decrease in alcohol consumption. The consumption of tobacco and soft drugs decreased less, and the consumption of psychoactive drugs increased. In the second year of the war, the consumption of alcohol and soft drugs continued to decrease, although more slowly than in the second half of the first year, while the consumption of tobacco and medicine increased. It should be noted that students who used psychoactive substances admitted a mitigating effect on the manifestations of anxiety, fear, and low mood in the first period of the war. However, these students recognized the negative impact of addictions on study at the university and on relationships with the dearest people, like relatives and friends. Subsequently, among students who continued to use psychoactive substances, the specific weight of individuals with psychological problems, learning difficulties, and conflicts with the microsocial environment increased. On the other hand, students who reduced their usage of psychoactive substances compared to the first period of the war demonstrated a better psychological state, high academic performance, and better relationships with the microsocial environment. All the information before allows us to conclude that at the beginning of the war, many students used alcohol, tobacco, and psychotropic drugs to alleviate anxiety and stress. Those students who continued to use psychoactive substances over a long period of time faced deterioration of their psychological state, learning difficulties and problems in interacting with the microsocial environment. Thank you very much.